And then there were 4 mayoral candidates, that is. We are here at the New Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church for a conversation with the candidates. This forum gives the community a chance to come together, to listen, to learn, and to engage with those who want to lead the city of Mobile as mayor. This is your city, your voice, your vote. I'm Courtney with Uplift Mobile, and this is Who Runs the Port? Voters gathered, questions were asked, and visions for the future were shared. The Mobile Mayoral Candidate Forum brought together the community for a night of transparency, dialogue, and civic engagement. From public safety and economic development to infrastructure and education, candidates laid out their platforms and answered tough questions from local residents. You are the branch president of the NAACP of Mobile County. What is your role here tonight?
Our role here tonight consists of our mission, and our mission is to ensure the political, social, educational, and economic equality of rights for all people and eliminate race-based hatred and discrimination. The first word that I mentioned was political. From a political standpoint, we have a goal, and that goal is to make sure everyone is educated as well as registered, and then again having the voting rights restored. This is part of the educational process, to know your candidate. So we encourage as many as possible to get out here, hear the facts, or hear the discussion of the issues that the candidates have tonight. And that's part of our role of the NAACP.
You heard it yourself. Your voice, your vote. There seems to be sort of a gap with young adults and politicians. What do you think can be done to bridge the gap?
I think one of the best ways that we can work on that gap is really the communication style, the communication effort between both politicians and community leaders, right? And students like myself and young individuals that are in, what we classify as Gen Z. I think the best thing that we can work on is communication and working on that communication style and how do we relay the message to one another.
Each contender offered their unique approach to leadership, giving voters a clearer picture of the choices ahead.
I think that what we're seeing, we have a crisis in Mobile right now, and a lot of that has to do with what we're seeing in our youth, the youth violence, the gun violence. And I think that has so much to do with the dissolution of the home. There's not positive role models and peer groups, and that's really where not only the city, but the city partners with the community-based groups, the faith-based groups, to step up and take a more active role in helping, mentoring, and working with our young people, showing them what positive choices are and understanding right from wrong, the value of life. Government can't do it all, and so we're very dependent on working with organizations like Boys and Girls Club and Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and I think that we just need to double down as a community in support of these organizations, because it's going to take this whole village to help raise these children and to be positive role models for them, and there's a lot more that we can do. So I'm eager to roll up my sleeves and get to work and see what difference we can make, and I know that we can.
So public safety was a hot topic tonight. And, what do you think are some of the underlying issues that puts the city of Mobile in such a need of public safety? And what do you think you can do to confront those issues?
I think there's no doubt that poverty is an underlying issue, that, fatherless homes is an issue. I truly think through education, through mentorship, through really creating positive programs for young men, because I'm mainly talking about young men. When you're looking at gun violence, it's mainly young men. And I want to pour every resource I can into their life so that they can see the clear pathway to success. You don't have to be the best in school. You don't have to go to college to be a success. And I want to show them that message. And frankly, I want to make it as easy as ABC, as the steps to chase that success and progress. But in many ways, our city does better than other similarly sized cities when it comes to crime. But, one young man dying by gun violence, one 5-year-old winged in the arm in a drive-by, that's one too many. And so we need to fight it in every way that we can.
You spoke a lot about mentorship tonight. Have you ever been mentored, and have you ever been a mentor?
I have. I'm mentoring a lot of people right now in the campaign. I have a young driver who follows me around, and I promised to tell him every bit of wisdom that I possibly could. But I've had so many mentors in my life that have absolutely changed my life. From a judge that preceded me on the bench, of course my father and my grandfathers, so many of their friends, so many people through school. When you're out there seeking wisdom and knowledge, it's there for the taking, and that's what I want. I want young men to be hungry for that, because that wisdom it'll take you far.
I think mental health is a major discussion that also wasn't really brought up tonight. What do you believe can be done as far as the mental health? And you talk about the poverty mindset. What can we do about that?
Well, there's two things you just brought up. The poverty mindset, we've got to work with the schools. Government can't get into the home, but we should be partnering with the schools, using our influence at the mayor's office to convey and convince the school system that, hey, we've got to teach our children life skills. And then we've got to help them find that path that's going to be helping them to be successful upon graduation. When you talk about mental health, we only partner with one or two of the large nonprofits. The problem with that is they become political powerhouses, right? And government has used that to leverage politically to get people back in office. My philosophy is this: partner with all of our mental health partners. Tell them, what is our vision? Bring the community together and say, hey, how do we help the folks that have mental health issues? And then find these nonprofits to say, listen, here's what we can do to help your problem. And then if the city is going to give its hard-earned tax money to those nonprofits, then you best believe that government should be saying at the end of the year, at the end of the 2-year, when those companies come back and want more money, what did you do with the money we gave you? And if you didn't help our community as a whole, and you can't show the numbers, the recidivism rate or the success rate, then we need to learn to part ways and find somebody else that can fix that problem.
You were the only candidate to bring up mental health. And this may be a broad question, but what do you believe can be done to address the mental illness that's happening in our communities?
First, we've got to accept that mental illness is just like any other disease. We've got to accept that, and then we've got to put resources, and we need an inpatient facility. I have mental illness in my family, and we don't have the resources nor the facilities. They built crisis center here, which only keeps them for 72 hours. We've got to create a system by which they can get meaningful treatment, not just like that. It's got to be an inpatient facility. That is something I've been lobbying for a long time. This community has got to accept, when you look at all the problems that we're having in education, most of those kids are going through horrific situations in life and in these families that they're coming out of. There's a mental health problem there. I am one of those people, when they were talking about it on the state level, they wanted to send mental health coordinators to Mobile County. I stopped them. I said, give us our money and we will create our own. Now the public school system has a wraparound system whereby they not only work with that patient, but they also go into that family and see what the crisis is that is helping to cause the illness this person. So they treat the holistic person and they do a roundabout and they unite those services. That's what we've got to do.
Local leadership affects everything from public safety to housing, transportation, education, and beyond. Forums like this give voters a chance to hear directly from those hoping to lead and to ask the tough questions that matter. As Election Day approaches, we encourage everyone to stay informed, stay engaged, and make your voice count at the polls. This is Courtney with Uplift Mobile. Thank you for watching Who Run the Port.